on, y'all? My name is Vannesia Darby. I'm a marketing consultant, and I'm also a full-time digital marketing manager in my 9-to-5 role. And this is the last video in the career series playlist. If you haven't watched the other videos, go back and look at them. All right, we're talking about the transition between entrepreneur and full-time employee and vice versa, and building parallel careers and all of that. So make sure that you watch the rest of the videos. So this is the last question that I received, which I wanted to save it for last because it's really talking about some of the mindset shifts that I had to have as an entrepreneur. And the question goes, what are some steps you wish you would have skipped or you wish you should have got that you wish you would have gotten earlier? And I really had to think about it. The very first thing, like flat out, is that I wish I would have stopped second guessing myself. I really thought that I had to prove a lot of my worth in my career, you know, because I didn't take the traditional route. When you get a job off Twitter and although I knew I was skilled, but when you get a job off Twitter and then you go into, you know, the kind of the creative field, you don't need credentials, right? Like, especially creatives, you don't need to have a degree. And I was like going back to school because I really love school, but people were questioning that and I felt like I had to defend myself and all these different things. I wish I would have just stopped second guessing myself and go ahead and do it. And I think really that's what my business allowed for me to do, is to have the confidence that no, you got the juice and you know it. And I slowly started to get it even when other people didn't. And I remember another example, someone came up to me and I said I own my own business, and they're like, oh, where are you located? I said, oh, this is pre-pandemic. I said, I'm virtual. And they were like, oh, I thought you owned a brick and mortar. I was like, I'm getting money, who cares? Right? And so it was those type of comments, or people who they didn't really understand digital at the time. Like I was doing webinars, like we're making a lot of money off of doing this stuff for clients, and people didn't really get it. And then the pandemic hit and all of a sudden everybody on Zoom, right? Everything is popping. And so you may actually be ahead of where you need to be, but when the time comes for God to bring you out, He's gonna bring you out and they're gonna see. And so that's the very first thing I wish I would have skipped, is some of the doubt. But I say this, I believe everything happens for a reason. So I probably wouldn't have the confidence that I have now if the doubt hadn't happened. So I'm sure it happened for a purpose. The second thing that I wish I would have done is that I wish I would have pitched to companies earlier. I had a really referral-based business for the first, I didn't pitch until year 6, I think, or year 5. Which was great. Like I was super happy with it. I felt super blessed, and I'm still incredibly blessed. And then I wanted some challenges, or I wanted to build my client roster, or I wanted to parlay into different arenas. I had worked in the SaaS industry, in the higher education industry, influencers, authors, actors. I did all of that. And I was like, well, let me try comedy, or let me try this. And so I pitched to companies, and some of them said no. And some of them said yes. And so I wish I would have done that sooner because I'm having such a blast with the clients that we get to serve now. Not that I didn't have fun earlier, I did. But I'm also really invested in their companies and really invested in their brands because I'm a fan. And so the learning curve is less steep because you don't have to go through a lot of things because you're a fan of the brand. And it makes for a really, really interesting exchange when you're working with these different clients. So I wish I would have pitched earlier and just put myself out there and been open to rejection, because everyone is not your client, but there's some people that's a really, really good fit, and it's super exciting when that happens. And if y'all don't learn nothing else from this career series, this is one thing I wish I would have done earlier. Okay, I'm serious. I'm looking at you because I want to make sure you know I'm serious. I wish I would have narrowed down my prices and narrowed down my service offerings. As a consultant and as even a social media manager, some of these words are a little aloof for some people. And so, you know, people don't know what consulting is until they're drilling me with questions and I'm giving you answers. I'm giving you best practice. I'm giving you my institutional knowledge. I'm giving you my experience. And I'm like, this is what I do. I've been on calls before where I remember I said, I feel like I should send you an invoice because you're asking me all the questions about a rollout that you're not hiring me for, right? And so I didn't have the language of consulting. I didn't know what that was. I just knew people came to me with problems and I solved them. Or I knew they came to me with a product and I knew how to market it. Part of it comes from just being in the field and just being in the industry. And I thought that, you know, consultants had to be in like a white button up and they had to, they had to have a pointer on the screen and all of that. And I was doing the work. I was already doing the work. And so once again, I kind of got that confidence to say, no, I'm actually doing this, and this is what I do, and this is who I do it with. And really it narrowing down even who I serve the best and who my team serves the best. Y'all, it was so much easier. Oh my God. So take the extra step and kind of niche down on what you bring to the table, and what those prices are looking like too. And don't be afraid to raise your prices. And I am super excited that I finally got there, and you will too, for sure, if you're struggling right now. There's nothing wrong with being under market rate until you feel like you got your weight up a little bit. But I wish I would have just said, hey, this is what I do. If you rock with it, cool. If you don't, you don't, and move on to the next and not take it personal. And I learned it for sure. And I think also just with age too, you know, it comes like, baby, once you get your 30s and beyond, you ain't tripping off nobody. All right. I hope that you enjoyed this career series. And if you have any more questions, put them down below. I would love to answer them, and we get more videos popping for you. Once again, I hope you have a fabulous rest of your week, and remember to always speak life. Peace.